Hello. Today we're going to talk about how to improve your writing. You can move your writing from good to great by using a variety of sentence types. So today we're going to talk about the different types of sentences to ensure that you use a variety of them in your writing. To get started, we're just going to talk about sentences kind of in general, and then we'll get more specific. So there are complete sentences, there are sentence fragments, and there are run-on sentences. Complete sentences have a subject, and the subject tells us who or what the sentence is about. It has a verb that tells us what that subject is doing in the sentence, what action it's taking. And complete sentences express a complete thought. So there are three criteria for a sentence to be considered complete: a subject, a verb, and a complete thought. Well, there are also sentence fragments, and there are two types of sentence fragments. One of them is the incomplete sentence, and this is a sentence missing the subject or the verb. Another type of sentence fragment is the dependent clause. The dependent clause has a subject and has a verb, but it's missing a complete thought. Then there are run-on sentences, and there are two types of those as well. Fused sentences are run-on sentences where two sentences have been put together, but there's no punctuation at all. There are also comma splice as another type of run-on. Comma splice is when there has been a comma used in the sentence, but it's used incorrectly. It doesn't have a coordinating conjunction with it. So our focus today, of course, is on complete sentences, because you are going to ensure that you edit all of the sentence fragments and run-on sentences out of your work. We want to focus on your complete sentences and using a variety of sentence types. So let's talk about those types. There's simple sentences, which is just one independent clause. There are compound sentences, which are two independent clauses. When you think about complex sentences, that's where we bring in a dependent clause. And then the fourth type is compound complex, where you combine the two independent clauses from the compound with a dependent clause from the complex. So you'll notice all of these sentence types are made up of clauses. So let's make sure there's a good understanding of clauses real quick before we dive into these sentence types. So when we think about clauses, as you've heard, there's independent and dependent. The independent clause is a simple sentence. It's a complete sentence. It has a subject, it has a verb, and it expresses a complete thought. An independent clause can stand alone as a sentence. However, the dependent clause cannot. The dependent clause, as you just heard, is one type of sentence fragment. It has a subject and it has a verb, but it does not express a complete thought. So the dependent clause cannot stand alone as a sentence. So let's dig into the independent clause, and I'll give you some examples here just to ensure deep understanding. Again, the independent clause is a simple sentence. It can stand alone. It's a complete sentence. So let's look at an example. The girl ate blueberries. Simple sentence, independent clause. Has a subject, has a verb, expresses a complete thought. Well, you can still add adjectives and adverbs to your sentence, and it would still be an independent clause simple sentence, such as the little girl quickly ate juicy blueberries. We added the adjective little to describe what kind of girl and the adverb quickly to describe how she ate. But it's still a simple sentence, independent clause. A couple more examples. The little girl named Maddie quickly ate the whole box of juicy blueberries. Here we added much more description, but it is still a simple sentence or independent clause. The dependent clauses, as a review, are one type of sentence fragment. They have a subject and a verb, but they do not express a complete thought. They cannot stand alone. They must have an independent clause paired with them in order to be a complete sentence. Dependent clauses always start with a subordinating conjunction. So let's look at some examples there. Since the girl ate blueberries. Since is a subordinating conjunction. And when you hear this, since the little girl ate blueberries, you're left hanging. You're waiting to hear the rest of the sentence. That's what happens when a clause does not express a complete thought. So because of the word since, that subordinating conjunction at the beginning, it has made this a dependent clause. We need more information for it to be complete. It has a subject, the girl, it has a verb, ate, but it does not express a complete thought. Another example. Even though the girl ate blueberries. Okay, even though, what happened? Again, you're kind of left hanging. That's because it does not express a complete thought. And it's that subordinating conjunction at the beginning, even though, that makes this clause dependent. A couple more examples. After the little girl ate juicy blueberries. In this case, after is the subordinating conjunction. But again, you're left feeling, at the end of this, you're left feeling like there should be more. After the little girl quickly ate juicy blueberries. Okay, what happened after? We don't know because this clause does not express a complete thought. So that the little girl quickly ate juicy blueberries. Another dependent clause because so that is a subordinating conjunction and it does not express a complete thought because we're waiting to hear the rest of the idea. Because the little girl named Maddie quickly ate the whole box of juicy blueberries. Again, not a complete thought. Subject and a verb, but doesn't express a complete thought. And it's because of the subordinating conjunction, because, at the beginning of that sentence. So these are all examples of dependent clauses. They cannot stand alone, and they always start with a subordinating conjunction. The last example, just as the little girl named Maddie quickly ate the whole box of juicy blueberries. Okay, what happened? Again, not a complete thought. So dependent clauses must always be put with an independent clause in order to make a complete sentence. Other subordinating conjunctions, there's a lot of them in the English language, are listed here. You have time-related, as well as those used to make comparisons and show cause and effect, conditional, and place conjunctions. So this just captures a few more of the subordinating conjunctions that always start dependent clauses. So getting back to the types of sentences, again, we have the simple sentence, one independent clause. The compound is two independent clauses. Complex brings in the dependent clause, and compound complex just puts those together. So we've kind of talked about simple sentences and independent clauses. So let's jump into compound sentences. Again, compound sentences, two independent clauses. They are connected with a comma and a coordinating conjunction, or with a semicolon. Coordinating conjunctions, many of you have learned the acronym FANBOYS. Coordinating conjunctions are listed out in this acronym: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Let's look at some examples there. The girl ate blueberries and her friend ate strawberries. The girl ate blueberries is an independent clause. Her friend ate strawberries, independent clause, and they are put together with a coordinating conjunction, comma, and. The little girl quickly ate juicy blueberries, but her friend slowly ate strawberries. You could still add in those descriptive adverbs and adjectives, and it's still a compound sentence. Two independent clauses in this one put together with but as the coordinating conjunction, and you got to have a comma if you're putting together two independent clauses. Last example, the little girl named Maddie quickly ate the whole box of juicy blueberries. Her friend named Gabe slowly ate half the box of colorful strawberries. Still a compound sentence, but no coordinating conjunction. In this case, two independent clauses were put together with a semicolon. So you see some examples of compound sentences here. Again, two independent clauses put together either with a comma and a coordinating conjunction, fanboys, or a semicolon. Well, let's move on to the complex sentence. To review, the complex sentence has one independent clause and a dependent clause. And those dependent clauses always start with a subordinating conjunction. Here are some examples. The girl ate blueberries while her friend ate strawberries. The girl ate blueberries is the independent clause. While her friend ate strawberries is the dependent clause. Put them together and you have a complex sentence. Another example. The little girl quickly ate juicy blueberries, although her friend slowly ate strawberries. This is another complex sentence. The dependent clause starts with the subordinating conjunction, although, and in this sentence we're showing again that you can add adjectives and adverbs all the time, and that doesn't necessarily change your sentence type. The little girl named Maddie quickly ate the whole box of juicy blueberries before her friend named Gabe slowly ate half the box of colorful strawberries. Lots of description and adjectives and adverbs, but it is still one independent clause with one dependent clause, so it's a complex sentence using the subordinating conjunction before. So let's go on to our fourth type of sentence, the compound complex sentence. This one tends to be the most difficult, although it makes sense. If you can remember the compound sentence and you can remember the complex sentence, then you can definitely do compound complex because it only puts them together. The compound sentence, again, requires two independent clauses with a coordinating conjunction or a semicolon. And the complex sentence has an independent clause with a dependent clause and a subordinating conjunction. Well, if we put those together to make compound complex sentences, we can do that. Now, what I'm showing here is that the compound sentence requires two independent clauses. The complex sentence only requires one. So that criteria, the one independent clause for the complex sentence, that criteria is met through the two that are required on the compound side. So to make a compound complex sentence, you need at least two independent clauses to meet the compound criteria, and you need at least one dependent clause to meet the complex criteria. Let's look at a few examples of those. The girl ate blueberries and her friend ate strawberries while sitting on the grass. The girl ate blueberries, independent clause. Her friend ate strawberries, independent clause. And those are put together with comma and. So that's the compound part. Then we get to the dependent clause, while sitting on the grass. While is a subordinating conjunction, starts that dependent clause. Now this sentence has two independent and one dependent clause, so it is a compound complex sentence. As I've shown you before, you can still add in those descriptive words, adjectives and adverbs. The little girl quickly ate juicy blueberries, but her friend slowly ate strawberries before going to the park. Two independent clauses put together with a comma but, and the dependent clause before going to the park uses that subordinating conjunction. Last example. The little girl, named Maddie, quickly ate the whole box of juicy blueberries. Her friend, named Gabe, slowly ate half the box of colorful strawberries, even though the fruit was needed at the fair. So this sentence, again, is compound complex. We have two independent clauses put together, this time with a semicolon, and then our dependent clause at the end of the sentence, even though is the subordinating conjunction to commence it. So compound complex is our fourth sentence type. Which sentence type is the best? None of them. The best writing, the greatest writing, writing with the greatest accolades, has a variety of sentence types. And that's the goal today. Number one, to get you to realize that variety is of utmost importance in your writing. And number two, to review the sentence types, because you can't use a variety of them if you don't know what they are. So let's look at an example of this applied to some of the things we've talked about. Here are a collection of sentences that I've used so far today. The little girl ate blueberries. The little boy ate strawberries. The little boy and the little girl are friends. The little girl's name is Maddie. The little boy's name is Gabe. Maddie and Gabe are sitting on the grass. Maddie eats fast. Gabe eats slow. Maddie ate more than Gabe. Maddie and Gabe are going to the park later. Maddie and Gabe are taking some fruit to the fair. Okay, a little choppy, very repetitive. So I wonder about sentence type. Well, let's look at it. The first sentence, the little girl ate blueberries, simple sentence. Second sentence, the little boy ate strawberries, another simple sentence. The little boy and the little girl are friends. It has that coordinating conjunction and in it, but it's not being used to put together two complete sentences. So this is still a simple sentence. It's a compound subject. There's two people, a little boy and a little girl, but it is not a compound sentence. Okay, going to the next one. The little girl's name is Maddie. All right, simple sentence. Little boy's name is Gabe. Another simple sentence. Maddie and Gabe are sitting on the grass. Again, simple sentence, compound subject, but it is not a compound sentence. It's a simple sentence. Maddie eats fast. Simple sentence. Gabe eats slow. Simple sentence. Maddie ate more than Gabe. Yet again, simple sentence. Maddie and Gabe are going to the park later. Another simple sentence. Maddie and Gabe are taking some fruit to the fair. Another simple sentence. Part of the reason this was so kind of boring to read and boring to listen to, it was very choppy, very repetitive. Part of the reason is because every single sentence was simple. We can improve this writing by using a variety of types of sentences. So let's look at how we might be able to make this paragraph better. So this is what we have right now. It's a copy of what I just read. So let's look at the first two sentences. The little girl ate blueberries. The little boy ate strawberries. Okay, I feel like those are pretty repetitive. It says little twice. They're both eating. I feel like I can put those together. And I'm going to do that with a comma and. The little girl ate blueberries and the little boy ate strawberries. Okay, that's a little better. It's a compound sentence. And because I'm just talking, I'm adding to the information. First, it's about the little girl, then it's about the little boy, and is an appropriate coordinating conjunction. Okay, great. So now let's move on. The little boy and little girl are friends. The little girl's name is Maddie. The little boy's name is Gabe. Okay, lots of repetition in there. I feel like I can definitely put those together somehow. So I'm going to. The little boy and little girl are friends, semicolon. Their names are Maddie and Gabe. I like the semicolon here because the second independent clause is only further describing the first independent clause. The first one talked about the little boy and little girl. The second one now tells me their names. So I like that sentence. So let's keep going. Maddie and Gabe are sitting on the grass. Maddie eats fast, Gabe eats slow. I feel like I can put those together. The content is kind of similar. I mean, they're eating on the grass. One's eating fast, one's eating slow. I feel like those could be put together. Maddie and Gabe, so I'm going to put them together. Maddie and Gabe are sitting on the grass, and Maddie eats fast while Gabe eats slow. Okay, that puts them all together, flows a little bit better. So I'm going to go on to the next one. Maddie ate more than Gabe. Okay, I find that kind of funny, and that might be an important statement for this paragraph. So I don't think I want to combine that one with anything. I think I want to leave that one by itself, but I might just put an exclamation point at the end and use a pronoun. Maddie eats more than him. I don't really need to use Gabe's name again. Okay, so then getting to the end. Maddie and Gabe are going to the park later. Maddie and Gabe are taking some fruit to the fair. Feel like I can put those together because they're both talking about what's happening later. Since they are going to the park later, they will take some fruit to the fair. Okay, I feel like I can put those together. So now I'm going to go back and look at my variety of sentences. Did I do better? Do I have better sentence variety now that I've gone through and tried to combine some of my simple sentences? Well, let's see. The first one is a compound sentence. The second one is also a compound sentence. The third one's compound complex with two independent clauses and a dependent clause. That fourth one is a simple sentence, but again, I think I'm okay with that. And the last one is a complex sentence. So I have a nice variety of sentences now. I have one of each type, at least one of each type. And it's okay to use simple sentences. You just have to use them strategically. You should never have all compound complex or all simple. Again, variety. So let's look at what this looks like now, putting it all together. In blue is the revised paragraph where I have a variety of sentences. The little girl ate blueberries and the little boy ate strawberries. The little boy and the little girl are friends. Their names are Maddie and Gabe. Maddie and Gabe are sitting on the grass, and Maddie eats fast while Gabe eats slow. Maddie eats more than him. Since they are going to the park, they are going to take some fruit to the fair. So in red or orange is the original. That was very choppy. Notice the length of these two paragraphs isn't largely different. What is different is the variety of sentences. And the second one is flows much more better. Again, the second one, the little girl ate blueberries. The little boy ate strawberries. The little boy and little girl are friends. The little girl's name is Maddie. The little boy's name is Gabe. Maddie and Gabe are sitting on the grass. Maddie eats fast. Gabe eats slow. Maddie eats more than Gabe. Maddie and Gabe are going to the park later. Maddie and Gabe will take some fruit to the fair. Very choppy. The first one in blue flows much better, and it definitely maintains the interest of the listener. This is the one that you would want to choose if you were trying to improve your writing through variety of sentences. So to review, sentence variety, it does lots of things for us. It maintains engagement. The reader or the listener is more engaged with your text because things are kept interesting and dynamic. They're not monotonous and boring and choppy. Sentence variety demonstrates your ability, the ability of the writer, to express their thoughts and ideas in more than one way. And that's a great trait to be able to demonstrate. Sentence variety illustrates advanced mastery of the English language, because if you don't understand clauses and conjunctions and the related punctuation, then you're not going to be able to do sentence variety well. If you do sentence variety well, if you have a variety of all four sentence types, then you're definitely showing the reader or the listener that you have advanced mastery of the language. You also just sound more knowledgeable, more professional, more competent when you use a variety of sentence types in your writing. And lastly, maybe most importantly, it is more memorable and enjoyable to read or to listen to. And ultimately, that's your goal. Every time you write something, whether it's for private, professional, for school, whatever reason you're writing for, your goal is to connect with the listener or the reader and to make them enjoy listening or reading your work, to make them remember it. You do that through using a variety of sentence types. Closing thoughts. Nothing is pleasant that is not spiced with variety. So if you want your writing to be pleasant, spice it with variety. Sameness is the mother of disgust. Variety is the cure. You never want to be on a disgusting side with your writing. You want to be on the side that has variety and is the cure to disgust. And last but not least, variety is the very spice of life. That gives it all its flavor. So use variety of sentence types to add flavor and spice and engagement to your writing. Good luck.